to Hampton. Hampton fumbles the ball. The Giants recover for a touchdown.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. And welcome to the Gridiron. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much. Everyone out there has been watching my videos. Thank you. If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up or possibly leave a comment below or maybe even share this video, it would mean so much to me. But at least anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Well, I saw a little article talking about, because today is the last day of the season for the New York Giants anyway, the six people are going to bring in to interview for the GM job. I was a little surprised, like in the article, and well, I'll leave a link in the description box so you can check it out. John Dorsey wasn't one of them. Now, you know, because John Dorsey's got a nice little track record. He was with the Packers from 91 to 98. I think he went to the Seahawks for 1 year in 99. But from 91 to 98, he was with the Packers. The Packers went to 2 Super Bowls during that time period. They won 1. They lost 1. But then he spent 1 year with the Seahawks, then went back to the Packers from 2000 to 2012. I mean, you know, those were phenomenal years as well. I mean, because you had the Brett Favre ending, you know, and then you had the beginning of the Aaron Rodgers era there. They also went back to 1 Super Bowl there. Then he spent some time with the Chiefs, 5 years with the Chiefs. Then he went to the Browns, and he, you know, helped build up, you know, the Browns team. He was there for the Browns for 3 years. But, you know, maybe I did kind of like read around or was listening, you know, they listen to some podcasts and stuff and all that, there was like maybe a couple people that don't want the job with the Giants if Judge is included. You know, because some guys just want to come in and it's, you know, this is me. I'm getting my coach. Daniel Jones ain't the quarterback. Well, we're going to get our own quarterback. You know what I mean? And that's how we're going to start building a team. You know, so that way, if it crumbles, it's all my fault. It's not. I'm not coming in here. I got Judge who I don't want, and I get this quarterback who I don't want. So if we start doing crappy, it looks bad on me. When I said no, I don't want this guy. I don't want. You know what I mean? So not every GM's going to want to, you know, take the job. Same thing with some of these guys that they're interviewing. I don't know per se if all these guys on this list that they're actually going to bring in and talk to, but I mean, I don't know if all these guys that they're going to bring in and talk to said, yeah, I'll work with Jones, I'll work with Judge, yeah, sure, yeah, no problem, you know, so who knows, but John Dorsey apparently won't be one of them. Doesn't certainly mean that he won't get spoken to, you know, or anything. Apparently, it kind of seems like, you know, more and more like Judge will be back. I'm just kind of interested to see if we wind up getting thrashed by, like, say, 20 points or so tomorrow. Today by the Washington football team. If you know, we get spanked again. If that'll matter with Judge returning or not. But we'll have to wait and wind up seeing. But the first one on this list was Kevin Abrams. Now he makes a lot of sense. You know. He's been with the Giants since 1999. You know, he's their salary cap expert. You know, he's been the Giants' assistant GM since 2002. So basically, he's been the assistant GM under Ernie Accorsi, Jerry Reese, and Dave Gettleman. So I mean, who knows if, say, somebody else comes in as a GM, if he'll still be the assistant GM. I mean, who knows? I mean, the new GM that comes in might want his own assistant GM. So, I mean, who knows? But, I mean, you know, so Abrams has seen the good. You know, he's been there for 3 Super Bowls. 2 of them we won. The one we lost was in 2000. You know, so he's seen raising the Lombardi Trophy. He's seen us, you know, plumbing into the depths of the abyss, and, you know, as far as bad, you know, bad seasons, bad teams, and all that. You know, is he the one that, you know, can turn the ship around? Yeah, who knows? I mean, he's the one that writes the, you know, the salary cap. He's the one that brings the guy, you know, and figures out the salaries and all that. And he's not the one saying, yes, we can sign it. Well, we know we're going to bring this guy in and we're going to sign. I mean, he's not one in charge of that. That's Dave Gettleman. So I mean, if somebody, Dave Gettleman brings these guys in and say, can we sign them? Yeah, I think we can see. I mean, if Gettleman keeps bringing these guys in and Abrams keeps figuring out ways that we can sign these guys, so, I mean, it doesn't mean that Kevin Abrams is the answer. No, but I mean, there's obviously there's a lot of familiarity. If they're going to keep Jones, if they're going to keep Judge, you got Abrams. I mean, there's a lot of familiarity there. I mean, Abrams has been with the Giants since 1999, so he's been there for almost a quarter of a century. So there's a lot of familiarity there. So, that's somebody you have to certainly at least think about as far as getting the GM. It's not the sexy pick, but. We'll have to wait and see. The second one is Dave Ziegler. He's been with the Patriots for 9 years, right? So, and even he spent time with some Judge. So there's some familiarity there. I mean, Judge is, is familiar with Kevin Abrams just for a couple years, but I mean, Judge is familiar with Ziegler because obviously the times that they both spent at New England. So if they're keeping Judge, Ziegler would obviously have some familiarity. Ziegler took over for Nick Caserio after he left. Now Pats are doing pretty well. This year. With the rookie quarterback. Now they haven't necessarily had the greatest drafts per se. Recently, but I mean this year they're doing. I mean last year they didn't do good. They had Cam Newton as the quarterback, but I mean this year they're doing a lot better with Mac Daddy Jones. They're in the playoffs. I mean it does help that you got Bill Belichick as your coach, and all those other years you had Tom Brady. So I mean between Belichick and Brady, they make anybody look really good. But I mean Ziegler, he's with a winning organization. There's the familiarity there. So I mean sometimes you just, I don't know if you just start somewhere along the line, start shying away from people from the Patriots. I mean, I guess it's like, is there anybody left the Patriots, right, gone out and been a huge success? I mean, coach-wise, so I mean, but I mean, I said, there's the familiarity there, right, with Judge. So they might feel comfortable working with each other. So who knows? The number third one is Monty Ossenfort. He's the director of player personnel for the Titans. Ossenfort was first hired by the Patriots. Okay, once again, 2003 as a personal assistant. Right, then he just basically worked his way up the ranks. So he is familiar. I mean, so you got Ziegler and Ossenfort they're familiar with Judge. So the Titans, this year 11-5, they're number one. They're number one seed. If they beat the Texans tomorrow, they'll be the number one seed. They'll be 12-5, and they'll be the number one seed. So I mean, what he's done with the Titans, well, maybe not so much what he's done, but I mean his time that he's been with the Titans, you got to give him some. Got to give him some credit. I mean, Henry has been out for I can't remember how long he's been out for now, but I mean, they're 11-5. They beat the Texans tomorrow, but you want the Texans to win because that'll give the Texans 5 wins. If the Giants lose, the Giants only have 4. The Giants will slide into the top 4 as far as picks. But but I'm saying, Tannehill is. Ryan Tannehill is the quarterback. I mean, look what the Titans have done. I mean, I think Tannehill was like 13 out of 18 or 12 out of 18 or something like that last week against the Dolphins. They beat them 34-3. He had 120 yards passing, and they kicked the living crap out of the Dolphins, who kicked the living crap out of the Giants. You know what I mean? So it's like, they got a nice. They got Tannehill. They don't have Aaron Rodgers. They don't have Tom Brady. They don't have Patrick Mahomes. They don't have Josh Allen. They don't have Justin Herbert. I mean, right? And they're 11-5 without their best player. who's probably going to come back in time for the playoffs. But you got to give them a lot of credit. All right, a lot of credit. And one of their losses was to the Jets. I mean, go figure. But I mean, Austin Ford, he's with a good organization now, a winning organization. He was with the Patriots, and he is familiar with Judge. So that's another person to keep an eye on. The next one is Ryan Poles. He's in his 12th season with the Chiefs. Okay, another winning organization. He's their executive director of player personnel. All right, in the article, they do kind of question if he would be, wind up being the Giants GM. There's no familiarity here. As I said, I'll leave a link to the article here. I mean, they list this guy's name here, and they kind of question whether he will wind up being their GM or not. But he's been with great organization, the Chiefs. He's been there every year that Reed's been there. Okay, since 2013, and every year since 2013 they've had double-digit wins except for 1 year. So I mean, and some of those years with double-digit wins, they didn't have Patrick Mahomes. So I mean, so it's a winning organization, right? I said, there is no familiarity, but sometimes some will, Now I don't know if that's something Mara's willing to do. I mean, because look what he did, with Jerry Reese. Jerry Reese was with the Giants for a while. I think Jerry Reese was with the Giants since like 93 or something like that. So after Ernie Corsi left, Jerry Reese took the spot because of the familiarity, right? After Jerry Reese left, he brought in Dave Gettleman. Why? Because Dave Gettleman was with the Giants. So there's a lot of familiarity there. So I'm not sure, how the corners are of Mr. Mara. He wants to step out, of his little bubble and maybe start thinking outside the box. Because, him thinking inside the box has led the Giants to a bunch of pretty piss poor seasons. So somewhere along the line, it might be an idea just to get out of his own way, right? Put the big boy pants on, step outside the box and start looking at it from a different angle. And Ryan Poles might be a nice solution to the problem that we have at GM. Then the fifth one we got is Louis Riddick, right? Now, he's done a lot. I mean, he was a player. He was a scout. He was a director of pro personnel for Washington from 2001 to 2007. He was a scout. He was assistant director of pro personnel, and he was the director of pro personnel with the Eagles from 2008 to 2013. All right, but since 2013, he hasn't been with an organization. Right, he's kind of been away from it. Now, the last time, he had an interview with the Giants, for 2018. Now, I'm not sure if why they took Gettleman was because of the familiarity. Gettleman was also with Carolina. One of those years, Carolina had a great record. They went to the Super Bowl. They lost, but so I'm not sure that's exactly why Gettleman got the job and Riddick didn't. He does a good job of bashing the Giants organization, decisions. I mean, he doesn't talk highly at all about the Giants. A lot of his bashing, some of it is rightly so. I mean, it's kind of a sinking ship. But some of it's also, it's kind of like, 2020 is always, hindsight's always 2020. You can look back and just say all kinds of bad things, that's easy to do. Now, I'm not exactly sure if all of his bashing is just trying to be truthful and all that, or if some of it's a little sour grapes because he didn't get the job at the Giants or what. I'm not exactly sure. Some of it, I scratched my head like some of it with him, because remember the Andrew Thomas, when we picked Andrew Thomas. I remember, the draft channel, somebody asked him, at the time we were getting, I grabbed the pen, he said, Isaiah Simmons, just plug and play player. You put him anywhere on defense you want. At the time, it sounded like a decent pick and all, But, you look at it now, it's like, I wouldn't take Isaiah Simmons, number 4, really? And then when the Giants did take Andrew Thomas, I mean, all he does is bash Andrew Thomas. Well, maybe Andrew Thomas had a little injury there last year. Maybe that's kind of why, he hasn't been doing so well. And I remember on a couple occasions, Louis Riddick said, Andrew Thomas is by far the worst tackle in that draft. By far. I'm like, yeah, you sure about that? I mean, because he's talking about Wirtz and Wills and Becton and Andrew Thomas. I mean, Andrew Thomas graded out about, I got 80 this year, buddy. I mean, really? Is that bad? Yeah? Sure about that? I mean, but Becton, he's been pretty hurt all year. But I mean, Wills and he hasn't done that well this year. Wirtz hasn't done bad, but they got him on the right tackle. They also have a Super Bowl winning, the greatest quarterback of all time, throwing the ball and everything like that. Sometimes things like that kind of have a tendency to make you look a little bit better, maybe, than you actually are. All right, when you're on like the worst offense in the league and you're the left tackle and you're graded out of 80, guess what, dude? That's pretty good. All right, and Andrew Thomas has been battling his own kind of injuries and everything this year, and so he's doing pretty good. So I'm not so sure about some of his draft picks, or he's talking about. Bastion's always it's 2020. Hindsight's always 2020. So as I said, I don't know if some of that's a little sour grapes, but I mean he's been out of the football world, being an organization since 2013. I mean, if he was that good, I mean, Louis Riddick, you see him on Monday Night Football talking all that. He sounds very intelligent, and I have no doubt that he is. I'm sure he knows a lot. He knows probably more in his pinky than I'll ever know about football. No question about that. But, he's been out since 2013. If he was that good, don't you think somebody would offer him a job, like, what says 2020, the last 9 years? I kind of look at him and I almost kind of see like Mike Mayock. Mike Mayock played for the Giants, 1982 and 1983. And they took like 10 years off. In 1993, he started broadcasting with like the CFL. Then he started doing like Notre Dame football. He was like all over the place, and he was on the NFL Network and all that. So from 93 to 2018, he was all over the place, broadcasting games, and it was really very knowledgeable. It sounded very knowledgeable anyway, like that. And then the Raiders took him as the GM, and like was it 2000? Was it 19? I mean, he took Cleveland Farrell, number 4 overall. It's like, you serious? I mean, really? Mike. I mean, he talks good. Mike Mayock. He talking and he said, yeah, this guy is. The way he describes the players and all that. It's like, man, this guy really knows his stuff. But I mean, then he takes Cleveland Farrell, number 4. I didn't see anybody in any mock drafts to have Cleveland Farrell. I mean, like maybe late first round. I mean, he's doing horrible. Then he took Alex Leatherwood, number 17 overall this year. He's out Outland Trophy winner, but man, he's grading out like a Pro Football Focus. He's grading out like a 44. I think his pass blocking grade is like a 27. I mean, are you serious? I mean, just because you can talk a lot sound good on TV, doesn't mean you're going to make a good GM. All right, so I got to hold my reserves on Louis Riddick. Then you got the last one is Joe Schoen. He's the assistant GM for the Bills. Now he's been there since 2017. Now he's been working under Brandon Beane. Beane came in with McDermott in 2017, and 2017 the Bills got their first playoff appearance since I think it was like 99, almost a 20-year playoff drought. First year that Beane came in with McDermott, they got right to the playoffs. Now since 2017, they made the playoffs every year but one. I think 2018, I think they were 6-10. But so Schoen has been under Beane, and Beane has totally turned that organization around. McDermott and Beane have done a phenomenal job. Now Schoen, has been there since 17, right? He's got some knowledge. He's got some experience. He's seen an organization go from bad, and he's made them play Super Bowl contenders. Last year they were 13-3. So if Mr. Mara is willing to put on his big boy pants, step outside the box, all right, and look at some of these guys, all right, Joe Schoen just might be somebody to look for. Ossenfort and Schoen and Ryan Poles, 3 of the guys to look for. Riddick, I don't know. Ziegler, there's a possibility, and don't always forget, maybe sooner or later, Kevin Abrams is going to become the GM of the New York Giants. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!